What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Sunless Sea. My name is Splattercat. Very happy to have you here today as we sail our super awesome frigate all over the place. We're kind of broke, though. So in between episodes, I sold a bunch of my memories of distant shores because I don't think I'm going to need that many of them. I'm like 80% sure. I'm always 80% sure about a lot of things. You ever notice that? I like to leave myself a nice margin of error. That's the big part. At the moment, we've got some money. We've got about $500. It's not really enough for me to feel super comfortable about our current financial situation, but I'm thinking that if we make a really good run right now, we should be all right. I've still got a bunch of casks of mushroom wine on board, and the big thing that I wanted to accomplish was once again running back out to Scrimshander and seeing if it was possible to get down into the archives. Now, this should give us 25 archive time, I think. And so with 25 archive time, hopefully we'll be able to resolve the event. Like, I'm really trying to make a solid push towards completing the game at this point. I've actually only ever completed the one, not the one where you ride the book, but you ride the book. Yes, that's right. I wanted to use a book as a mount. No, I've never actually completed the ambition aside from the one to make a shit ton of money or whatever, which actually isn't that hard to achieve. And so I really want to make this happen. And I'd like to make it happen sooner rather than later. I feel like we've hit a lot of the... Ooh, hey, what's going on, Lifeberg? How you doing? Hey, buddy. I've got my... I do have my Memento Mori ready to go. You guys were right. The Memento Mori does look cool. Even if it doesn't, like, hit as hard as the torpedo thing, it still looks awesome. I accept for now. That thing's gonna die. And I'm gonna take his loot. Time to die, Lifeberg. There's something ironic about killing a Lifeberg. I don't know. If anything's got life in its name and then you kill it, you would assume I could concentrate on replenishing my supplies. I don't really need supplies that much, so I'm gonna gather treasures. We got fragments gleam like obsidian in the depths of the ice. Their glassy blackness recalls Mount Nomad, the predatory terrain feature which haunts the blackness, avoids approach. What's the connection? So we got a hunting trophy and we got some outlandish artifacts. That'll be good. We are going through fuel pretty rapidly, which is the main thing that I'm concerned about with this boat. Like the amount of fuel that we have the ability to fly through now that we're driving one of the big ships. Piloting one of the big ships? Navigating one of the big ships. I don't know what we're doing with the big ship, but we're inside of it right now. I'm so far inside you, big ship. I'm inside you right. I'd like to imagine that this ship is actually quite large. A frigate is a bigger ship. Frigate is quite a bit larger than like a Corvette or any of that stuff. Although it kind of depends on the scale of the universe you're in too, because like a Corvette in Warhammer 40k properties is like enormous, and a frigate is just like, holy shit, that's a big ship. Whereas like a Corvette in Star Wars is quite a bit smaller. Like it's still a reasonably large ship, but it's a lot smaller than like 40k, for example, where they build everything absolutely gargantuan. We can explore the town, we can gather intelligence, probably just gather intelligence for now. Shore leaving Wither cost me 50 echoes. I'm way too broke for that noise, so I'm not even going to play around with it. How many Z stories do I actively have before I start chaining him in for Mutter Salt? Because I think I needed Mutter Salt for the Poissonnier, right? He needed Mutter Salt and he needed Zoop. I can make this happen. Yeah, let's do it. So I'll get the Mutter Salt and we'll get the Zoop. We'll pick that up. Did I get the port report while I was here? I did. Okay, so we got the port report. We're not going to be able to do much for a while, so I'll explore the town for now. You fall into a reverie as you wander the shore. There are words in the wind, a story of sorts, of a gate in the north, and of a pale light that began there, of a drowned light that will end there, and of a high wilderness that other ships may sail. You lift your eyes. On the wall of a salt work, someone has scrawled, "Is there a sea more sunless?" No, because there's only two as far as I can tell. I mean, all seas are kind of like, well, I guess there's more than that. Because there are some things that we consider seas, even though they're not connected to the ocean. Alright, I'm wrong. I'm going to turn around right now and say I'm wrong. There's plenty of seas. Although this is probably the most sunless one, considering it's inside of a cave. I can't think of a whole lot more geographical figures that are inside of a cave. So, come along. We'll go to Codex, and then we'll hit up the Ragged Crow. Do we need to go there? I think I delivered the last letter. And the lady said she did not forgive him. And so that was the only one that we failed. We will make the pass sign to a mute exile. She hands you an oilskin pouch, 9 foolscap sheets of beautifully written cipher gathered from who knows what corners of the unterzee. You look up. She points across the water towards the distant lights of Withertown. She shakes her head. No home there for her, not now. She points to your ship and raises her eyebrows. All right. A mute exile wants to join your crew. Will you permit it? The other sailors clutch their Z talismans and make signs against evil. The folk of Wither are uncanny. Those who are exiled to Codex must be more so. Yeah, we'll take them for now. They'll get terror, and we've now got Salt's attention too. And I think we needed. I think we needed either Storm or Salt's attention. If we go to the Salt Lions after this, basically we're going to be able to complete a lot of stuff because I think our rubbery friend, our little Cthulhu beast, whatever. I think he needed Stone's attention or Salt's attention or somebody's attention at the Salt Lions. That's another thing is now that we have so much cargo space, we can actively begin like moving Salt Lion Stone in between there and London and making like $400 every single time. I think it's actually they might have nerfed it. It used to be I think it used to be worth a lot more than it is now. Turn off the lamp, please. I don't want to have to buy fuel on this trip. Basically, this trip is going to be somewhat confined by the fact that we don't have a lot of money, and so I can't resupply easily. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to murder it. I think that sounds about right to me. Let's go slow. Hit it with the memento. There we go. Now hit the full reverse. We should be able to take him, no problem. I'd like to wait for both of these to be recharged so I can do that. What's his health looking like? I can't see what his health is. His health is okay. Probably got 2 more salvos in him. Got him. I had to do a desperate shot because he's about to hit me and I didn't know how much damage he was going to do. We can search for jewels. It's already disintegrating into a sloughy mass. Like a slewy mass. I don't know. I think that's one of those words that's an exception in English. I think it's slewy. Which is weird, right? Because you've got cough, which is spelled basically the same way. So you assume it'd be slough. But maybe it is slough, because that's slough off? Yeah, maybe. We can examine it before its final dissolution. Let's look for jewels. Blue jewels are embedded in the rotting fuselage of the Moss remains. You gather as much as you can, splashing frantically in the ship's boat before it disintegrates altogether, and the remaining jewels are lost. We have a casket of sapphires. I probably should have gone for the dissection. It seems like it was the valuable option right there. That thing had 500 HP, and we still managed to kill it. I think we're about ready to take on anything that wants to fight us, basically. Come on. There we go. Our submarine looks a little bit different now that our ship's bigger. It's all silvery. I like that. It looks really, really cool. Alright, Undercrow. What you got for me? Let's see what you're carrying on board here. The Undercrow. We can tell a kindly lie about the Burning Lady's response. We will tell him we'll get the port report first, because we don't know what's going to happen once I do this. The whole place could explode. I'm going to tell him about the combustion. You do your best to paint the scene in a positive light. Nevertheless, the almost dead man is consumed by grief, having advanced his love's condition. He drags his stiffening shape to the cave mouth. The Undercrow's confines afford little in the way of loneliness. The Aurelian's sour gaze pins you to the wall. Well, I can offer him a momentary escape with a Firkin's prisoner, honey. I can observe a private moment. Yeah, let's try. Hey, I did. The almost dead man's voice is barely a whisper. His friend bends low to hear it. I found the pass to the Elders Hallowed. We meant to retrieve what night has stole and share it with all, but a racking cough consumes him. When it abates, he continues. Instead, the mountain gave me a gift of its own. You won't pin it on one of your displays, will you? The Aurelian can barely stifle a damp laugh. Of course not, sir. No spreading board could hold you. I can attend to the hatchling. The almost dead man's breathing is faded to a rattle. Joylessly, the incomparable Aurelian says, it's time. He needs more dying grace, though, to make that work. I think I'd like to guarantee that success by giving him prisoner's honey first. Because if I can get that up to 6 or 7, I think he gets like, how much do I have right now? I have Aurelian's grace 4, right? And it's at 60%, so that means he gets 15 for each one you put in, so he would need 2 Firkins to get that up to like a really, really good chance. And even so, I failed 90% before in this game many, many, many times, so might even be worth it to hit him with like 3 of them, because we don't know how that's going to turn out. Or if it's going to allow us to reattempt it if we fail. It might be something that just gives us a bunch of horror if we fail. What's down here? A mine. Never mind then. Let's go back up to the surface. We're going to hit bright. We'll cut south and then we'll go east. Actually, I should probably stay below the surface. There tends to be better payoffs below the surface, but I guess I can live with where we're at right now. I'm hoping we run into Mountain Nomad over here. I think we're in a good enough ship now to where we could fight Mountain Nomad without too many problems. Our irons are high enough to where I'm not completely and totally paranoid about throwing dukes with powerful stuff. Throwing dukes like a monkey. Throwing dukes like a monkey. See, it's got 2 meanings right there. It's got 2 meanings. That's why I get to do this on the internet. Because I can make monkeys throwing poop jokes. Only the sophisticated will find a refuge here on the YouTubes. Very chancy challenge. Now I'm going to ignore them just to get rid of... Sorry, we're having nightmares right now because I let my terror get too high the last time I went to town. I think we're going to have issues with the guy we let on board from Codex as well. I'm pretty sure. Like, there's like a couple of events. Some of them are good and some of them are bad. And it kind of depends which one you get. I should be able to track down more supplies before this gets any worse. It does seem like we're eating supplies up quicker. Here in Frostfound, let's take tea with the squatters so that we get fuel and we get supplies, and then it lowers our terror. We got our port report. I don't think there's any shops here, so we're going to keep on moving because this game can be a little bit long-winded. And we've got a lot of things to get done on this trip. We seriously do. There's a lot of things that we can make like a little check off of our list with. God, I really hope 25 is enough time in the archives to actually finish this. You know, I'll be a little bit honest. I was a tad deceitful. I went online and looked at the wiki to see like exactly how many supplies I should have because I don't want to waste the time is the thing. Like, it took so long and so many episodes for us to get that much time in the archives that I don't want to like mess this up when I go in. And it's like one of those things where there just isn't any information on the game. Like, for how popular this game is, like on Steam, it's actually a little bit weird how little information there is on the internet. Like, nobody's documented anything. We've got salt lions. We will carry Sphinx stone. How much do I have in my hold? Yeah, sounds good to me. I will carry Sphinx stone, yes. So it costs us 200 if the stones weep, and Unmaker advises you ignore them, unless the flood your hold, of course. Then you should probably throw them overboard, but don't tell anybody that I said that. And then salt lions. We actually have Salt's attention this time around. The face of the northern sphinx is all but gone, but the nacreous outcast scrambles doggedly up. It pauses at the top, then flips into the air, an arc as precise as a compass line, down into the darkness of the Z. It's gone with barely a splash. You wait, and there's no reason for alarm. It can probably breathe water. You wait longer. There is a certain degree of decorous alarm. Longer still, and the alarm manifests in the form of sailors clustering casually by the rail. Only casually, because no one would admit any concern for the fate of a rubbery man. But he surfaces. It mounts the steps to the quay. With the ceremonious delight of a vicar mounting the steps to a pulpit, it holds a sphinx stone chess piece aloft in its hand. Principles, it wheezes. Okay, so that's another chunk of our adventure done right there. We will go... Ooh, that's way south of Port Cecil, though. Got that. There was something else that I needed to do over here other than Scrimshander, and I can't recall what it was. We should probably go back to Rack and collect the rewards that we've received for sending a bunch of sailors to their deaths. I'm pretty sure we've murdered a ton of sailors at this point. Like, we've got a side quest where there's a city underwater called Rack, where they collect basically ships, sunken ships. And so, oh, we got supplies and fuel, good. And then the stout crate, we got more supplies, even better. Oh, we have a colossal flute core too. I don't remember picking that up. I could throw him overboard if I was really an asshole, but we'll throw over one of the supplies, I guess. Oh, no, we won't. We'll throw over some of the fuel. Because the supplies actually, I think, may run out before the fuel does. I'm just trying to strike a good balance here. I'm going to do the rest of the trip underwater because I like a lot of the things that you can fight under this. Oh, yeah, I was going to go northwards to see if we could find Mountain Nomad and kill that and get the heart of the mountain or the soul of the mountain or whatever it is. Rack is down here. We've sent like 2 ships this way, I think, and they've been added to the mass, and then once you're down here, you're like stuck here is basically the way that it works. And so it was my hope that maybe there would be some kind of tangible reward for all the salvage we've sent down here. But I don't know. We can go wrecking. If you can lure ships towards wreck, the wreckers may sink them. The king himself will reward you. A little Gillifleur tells me there's someone you should speak to in Guider's Morn, trespasser. Why not make a friend and send them over this way? Alright, the fair king is always glad to see me. I can taste the tether. Compile a port report, obviously, because we're here. We have 12. The wreckers look sallow. Stores are running low. There is enough food to subsist for a time, but the poets may soon be out of paper. Oh, yeah, that's right. Ooh, we could have... Damn. The firkins of prisoners' honey are here, although that would put a short end to my journey. Now, assuming that I sell those... How many torpedoes do I have? Because I'm not even using torpedo weaponry anymore, so... Oh, I've just got the 1. Okay. Well, I'll do that then, and we'll get some parabola linen just to make some extra money. You can trade devil bone dice for foxfire candles. My problem is that we don't have enough supplies right now. You know, let's keep it simple. I'm not going to get super out there. I know I sold all of those resources for like no reason because I was making space in my hold to grab the prisoner's honey so that maybe we could do the firkins of prisoner's honey while we were out here just waiting and doing our thing. However, I don't think we're going to make it back up there. I really sincerely don't. And so I don't think there's any real reason to... I don't think there's any reason to waylay my journey. We'll get it on the way back around, basically, and I'll just buy them in London. Because we've got the like 60, 70 units of cargo on board right now, which is already a lot. What are you? Ooh, a Triskelegant. Okay. That is a creature that I believe we can send. To the Gant Pole. Nah, he got me. Not as bad as I got him, though. So for this one, I can let the beast go. We can harpoon it. We can avoid the maelstrom. We can let the beast go. I'm actually going to harpoon it. We got 5 Stygian ivory and a live specimen. Live specimen's worth more, so I'll throw the ivory overboard. No hunting trophies, though, disappointingly enough. If we wanted hunting trophies, though, going up above the surface would probably be best because this area is usually populated by bound sharks. I don't know how many of those I need, though, at the moment. I think I'm good. I don't think I need more. Let's surface. I'm going to go ahead and grab the port report from right here because we need the money. And then we'll do the Scrimshander thing, and I think we should be able to, at least in some ways, advance our main storyline ambition. Because we haven't made a whole lot of progress with it lately. Like, it felt like for a couple episodes we were hitting things like bam, 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 and like really, really getting towards it. This time around, it doesn't feel like it. This time it feels like we're kind of on the edge of it. I guess. So, wisdom. I'm going to get the port report here. As far as shops go, way too expensive. Not going to risk it. And then as soon as I can go down below the surface, I'm going to do that because sometimes this area is kind of hard to get underwater at. And our next destination is 100% going to be Scrimshander. Don't want to hit the bubbles of Irigo because it'll give me terror, but it'll lower something, but it gives you terror. It takes away terror, but it also makes you lose something else. We will accept the price and dock. And now that we're inside of here, I am going to compile my port report. We will assist the ancient chronicler. So that gives us 15 time. We will go to the stage of history where we will deposit all of this wine that we brought with us, which represented actually a pretty considerable financial investment in our future and actually advancing through the game. So it's also eating up a fat chunk of our hold space too, so we'll need to handle that before too long. That gives us almost 25 time. Actually, it gives us exactly 25 time down in the archives. Okay, so we'll leave the amphitheater and we will dive into the ivory archives. We can continue downwards, straightforward challenge, so we do that. What came before now? What terrors of yesterday led to today? We can question an ancient assumption. Everybody knows that city and its people were completely destroyed. Everyone except the authors of the records, apparently. So much for the old theories. It seems the disaster wasn't so natural after all. Devils were less fond of subtlety back then. Continue downwards. History's horrors are too numerous to count, especially when the results are so difficult to face directly. You've seen worse, though. You've had worse done to you. In fact, you've probably done worse to others, but only to those that really deserved it. So we got a tale of terror and got our hearts challenge done. Continue downwards. We've got so much time in the archives. Good lord. Unearth a portrait of time. Travelers from all eras from across the Neath have been brought here to rest. Perhaps something can be synthesized from their collections. It was said that a flower in the Z grew within the Z, one that any true lover would pluck for their beloved. If nothing else, it was a proof of bravery, devotion, and diving talent, all conventionally attractive qualities. Many dived, most died, but a few found the flower and found that it was not what they expected. It was beautiful beyond their imagining. And though a pretty poetic conceit had sent them below, it was not enough to bring them back up. They abandoned their old lovers in death or for beauty. So we got something for the Drowny chorus. We will continue. Stumble upon, I thought that said stumble upon muffin remains for a second. I was like, no, not the muffin remains. Anything but the muffin. The remains in this ancient hallway aren't bone, but mummified remains wrapped in linens lying in repose. One could almost mistake it for tomb colonists at tea. Hey, a royal sort of remains. This one's wrappings are of a different quality than the rest. Ornate pictographs sewn into the linen with golden thread depict an ancient city long collapsed. Beneath, the bones are immaculate and untouched. Keep going. I am attacked by a mad monk, or I can stumble across mummified remains. I think I'll fight the monk. Turning a damp corner, you find a bedraggled monk. Well, it's better than a bedazzled monk. Her drowny eyes are wild, and she stands over the remains of one of her fellows. She raises her flensing knife and lunges at you. You parry her lunge, and she flees into the dark, leaving the partially peeled monk. But wait, his bones have already been inscribed. Even where the flesh has only just been stripped away, through the viscera, you can read an account of the poor soul's final moments. Keep going. We still got 18 time down here. We have unusual remains. This far down, you should expect anything, but the carved remains of a rubbery man will be a little surprising. It hasn't got any bones proper, but its calcified tentacles bear inscriptions in unrecognizable language. As you study the writing, one tentacle crumbles, revealing a gleaming lump clutched to the poor thing's chest. Ah, the Stygian repository. We made it. Okay, so this is it. In the next episode, we'll find out what our ambition entails. We wanted to become immortal. They said that the next clue to becoming immortal was deep down in the ivory archives. We got a lot of people drunk to be here. It took us a lot of effort to get this many people that shit-faced. So I'm hoping you'll join me tomorrow. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to spend the day with me. And I appreciate you coming by tomorrow. I'll see y'all later. How you do, everybody?